join us in the Pledge of Allegiance. I
pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. At this point, I'll call our regular school board meeting for Independent School District number 544 to order. And the first item of business we'll conduct is to establish a quorum.
Okay, Kirby Anderson.
Here.
Natalie Knutson.
Here.
Melanie Cole.
Present.
Matthew Lemke.
Here.
Missy Hermes present. Stephen Vigasa.
Here.
We have a quorum.
All right, very well. I am seeking a motion to approve the agenda.
So moved.
All right, and a second?
I'll second.
Any discussion on the agenda? All in favor of approval, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say nay. And the agenda is approved, so we'll move on to a resolution on acknowledgements. And we want to thank Ruby's Pantry for donating 10 backpacks filled with school supplies for grades K through 4. They gave 2 backpacks per grade, so thank you to Ruby's Pantry. I will offer that resolution and move for its adoption. Is there a second?
I'll second that.
All right, and any discussion on the resolution? Hearing none, clerk, will you please call roll?
Natalie Knutson.
Yes.
Melanie Cole.
Yes.
Matthew Lemke.
Yes.
Missy Hermes, yes. Stephen Vigasa.
Yes.
Kirby Anderson.
Yes.
The resolution is adopted.
Thank you. We will now move into the reports and correspondence from each of the board members for some of our collateral responsibilities, in addition to this board, and starting with Kirby Anderson.
All right, thank you. I don't have anything from the Financial Committee, but from the 544 Foundation Committee. The group did meet on this last Thursday, September 9th. It was also not only the monthly meeting for September, but it was also the annual meeting. So we have approximately 1.78 million in total assets and equity right now. So we just passed $1 million just a couple years ago, so that's coming up pretty good. The classroom wish list, we have had 90 requests for this school year. 50 of them have been fully funded, 5 are partially funded, so making good progress on that. We did encourage people to sign up for pay reduction, staff members here at school for the foundation, and we have 105 staff members who've signed up. Coming up, not too much longer, we're going to have the Distinguished Alumni and Hall of Fame. So that'll be Friday, October 8th. That'll be when we have the parade and football game, and then Saturday, October 9th, will be a supper and a ceremony for those Alumni Hall of Fame inductees. We also have had a golf tournament that one of our major fundraisers each year, and that was, I believe, on July 9th. And the foundation made just a hair under $5,000 from that Legends golf tournament. And we get about 50% in the golf. The golf club gets the other half, but that was our half. So that's a very good moneymaker for us. Another one of our fundraisers, we did the in-service staff luncheon on Thursday of last week. And we planned for 420 people. And we had 6 hamburger buns, or I guess it was barbecues, nachos. So that worked out pretty well. We had a good turnout. We come in early and we set up, and then we do the serving line, and then we clean up, and it went pretty well. And it's a good chance to meet all the staff too on one of their first days back that week. Otter Pride coming up Friday, September 24th from 5 to 7. That's a similar thing. Instead of serving their staff, we'll be serving just the general public before the football game, and that will be taco in a bag, I believe. That's usually in the hallway down by the gyms. Retired staff reunion is going to be Thursday, September 30th at the YMCA, 10 a.m. 10 a.m. September 30th. We've got at least 8 retired staff, and I think there's 3 of them that are on our foundation board that will also be there, so there'll be a good turnout. So that should be fun. And let's see, I think Superintendent Drake talked a little bit about what's going on at school, and that was good, much appreciated by the board. And we have an outgoing president, Nick Mariotti, is going out, and Kelsey McIntosh Ellig is going to be our incoming president. So that's just a review of that meeting. Our next meeting is Thursday, October 14th at noon, and we meet over in the community ed area in the old CMI Media Center. Any questions?
No.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Alphabetically, my reports are next. We had the Special Education Cooperative Executive Board today, and primarily the information provided to us by Director Shannon Erickson was about the COVID recovery requirements for the special education students. So there is a law that has been passed in the state that directs how each of these students are to be offered catch-up services, and it's kind of detailed, but interestingly, the catch-up services would be available most likely next summer, because a lot of the special education students, are going to be engaged in a full day of schooling right now, but this is to be determined by the parents with the special education staff, what's a reasonable accommodation, all that. But with school full on and the limited availability of staff time, it seems like to catch up from last year's COVID might be next year's summer. So we'll see how that goes, but quite frankly, the special education director doesn't believe that there will be a large volume of parents that are seeking those catch-up services. So, but there's paperwork for each of the students to be completed. Beyond that, we did some personnel moves, and that was a short summary of today's meeting there. I did not go to the Region 1 board meeting in August, had a family event instead. The activities committee has not met, so that's that. Sometimes I report on negotiations, and although it wasn't listed here, we are going to begin the negotiations process in earnest this week with the FFEA, Education Association. So we will have more about that later in the closed session of the board meeting. Any questions for me?
Just on the catch-up services, do they have to meet then for an IEP, and a change in their IEP then for every student and a caseworker? Do they change the?
They have to offer to meet,
Okay.
and that's how it begins. And so it could become quite a quagmire, because if the parents, an accumulation of parents want to meet this fall, then next year that's when the IEP gets due again, and it kind of adds up that way. But we'll just see what kind of response they get. So, yeah. Any other questions? Okay, then we'll continue on with Missy Hermes.
Okay, the policy committee has not yet met, but we will be meeting shortly. We're ready to go now. We have all of the paperwork that we need. But the staff development committee just met this afternoon, right before this meeting, and that was a great meeting. So some of the things that we talked about was the budget. Remember that we did not use all of that budget really in the last 2 years, so there was a rollover of about $12,000. And so it's going to be, I think they'll be able to be, that committee will be very productive. And they did also go back over the Youth Frontiers Honor Retreat, which just took place, and said that it really set a positive tone for the year, and not just for teachers, but all the colleagues, all of the people that staff that work here, even non-certified staff were included in that retreat. The other thing, this is big, because I've been talking about this now for a long time, is it looks like the cultural competency training is going to take place. Remember, that's what teachers need in order to renew their licenses. And we haven't been able to offer it, and it looks like we're finally going to be able to do that, and just making sure we've got it pretty much lined up. And I'll hopefully be able to report on that next time. And also, it looks like an upcoming project-based learning retreat too, or training, not retreat. Let's see, what else? New business. that the committee worked on is SEL, social emotional learning, which is a big part of the strategic planning, and it looks like that is already happening in the district, which is great. And then also they talked about the different in-services coming up this year and what are some suggestions that people had for those trainings. One is on January 21st, so off into the future, and then March 25th.
The social emotional learning, is that a, did I miss something? Is that a curriculum that we've,
No,
paid
so there
for?
is going to be, they're recommending a SEL or a social emotional learning committee be
Okay.
formed. And that committee would be looking at and recommending curriculum.
okay, very good.
And they're,
Thanks.
they're hoping to get a curriculum for the whole district. I mean, so everybody's using kind
I
of the
think
same
so,
language.
because right now
kind of
there
like
are certain grades that have
Yeah.
programs that they're using, but you're right, Steve, that the real goal is to have the same vocabulary, the same practices across the district.
Right. Very cool.
Okay. Great. Anything else, any other questions for Missy? All right, we'll move on to Natalie Knudsen, please.
I don't have any, neither committees have formally met, but I'll just mention that in regards to the culture and climate integration, the Thrive initiative's gonna be kicking off, if not already. I saw some emails come in from Leah, so the staff will be starting to see some of those concepts and starting to work that month by month as we head into the school year.
Cool. Very good. Any questions in regard to that? Moving right along then to Matthew Lemke.
Minnesota High School League does not meet until October, so I have nothing to report for them. Lakes Country Service Co-op Board did meet, and right now we're in the process of strategic planning, and at this point in time, they're just doing data collection and analysis of what Lakes Country Service Co-op offers, and also send out surveys to members and stuff like that to get some feedback and on what's gone well, you know, what we can improve on and things of that. So that is kind of in the process of what they are in for strategic planning wise. The other thing just to report on is just on renewals for, one of the things that Lake Country Service Co-op does offer is insurance. And so they just had the renewals done here for the city, county, and government agencies. This is separate from school districts. There's two different pools going on. And anyway, the average trend costs for renewals for insurance has been about 7.5% this year. And the average pool increase this year for Lakes Country Service Co-op is about 3.4%, so about half. So they had a very good year in the pools for both small and large groups. So that was good. That was good to see. I'm sure members will be very appreciative of that too. So other than that, it's just routine business stuff. But I thought those were two things to highlight.
Very good. Any questions for Matt? All right, Stephen Vigasa.
I don't have anything to report from my committees. Legislature is not in session. Meet and Confer hasn't met. I can't remember the last time we met. I think it was for the
calendar?
calendar, that was it. And curriculum review usually starts up in October, so
All right.
don't have anything.
Short and sweet. Very good. And then Superintendent Tripp.
All right, good evening. Really pleased with the start of our school year. Many positive comments from workshop week, starting with the honors retreat, and then things continued to build and reinforce the concepts all the way through the week there. Staff was very excited about the new school year, and then seeing the kids come through the doors on the 7th just affirmed how much energy and excitement there was to get back to school and have 5 days a week of in-person instruction. I'm just so appreciative of all the work of the staff getting ready for the school year and welcoming our students and community back. Our open houses had, I thought, good attendance, and we had a lot of activity with Chromebook distribution and stuff going on at KSS. I did manage to make it out to all of the facilities. I did not make it out to Lincoln on Thursday night, but really good turnout for open houses. And the focus as we started this school year was on building positive relationships, and that is as an adult staff as well, honoring each other and showing respect for the work that we do, but also carrying that over into our work with students. There's been a huge focus on making connections with kids and forming those strong relationships. And that is directly tied into our strategic plan, but also the Thrive work. So we chose relationships as the first of the Thrive initiatives to begin our school year with. On the COVID-19, I hate to say anything positive about this, so knock on wood, but we've had a really good start. We had 2 cases last week. This is out of a combined population of approximately 3,000 staff and students. And then we had 2 cases that were confirmed today. So right now, things look very good, as much as you can say that on the COVID-19 front. Hopefully that's able to continue. At the request of a parent, I did start this year a daily COVID-19 tracker. And so that is a combined student and staff number, and then it's designated by building. So I get the update at approximately 4 p.m. each day, and we go in and update that. And it's on the district website under the COVID link, and it'll show up on the right-hand side as you look at that COVID page. We also have a limited supply of the rapid COVID-19 tests that can be administered to students. The school does not do this unless we have a signed parent permission slip on file. So this will be parent directed, whether they want their child to receive a rapid test or not. We don't know long-term what the availability of these rapid tests will be. So we may have received our initial allocation and that may be it, we don't know. So it is available for parents if they decide they want their student tested. At the end of the month, we will have our facilities review from the study that was done, commissioned through ATS&R. And so that will be the work session of September 27th. And then we did have Johnson Controls come in last week, so they did their walk around. They're saying 30 to 45 days on their report as well. So we'll basically have all these facility reports kind of coming in pretty tight succession, giving us an idea of both what is in good shape in our district from a facility standpoint and what is going to need our attention in the not too distant future. I mentioned that we had distributed at KSS Chromebooks at the junior high and high school level on open house night. We are still in the process of collecting about 30 units is what we have left that were not turned in last spring. We have Otter Pride Night coming up on Friday, September 24th from 5 to 7 p.m. So looking forward to that. Kirby had mentioned the retired staff reunion sponsored by the 544 Foundation on September 30th. I do want to extend our appreciation to the foundation for the wonderful lunch that they served on Thursday, September 2nd. It was much appreciated. And then just as a reminder to the board, if you're interested in attending one of the fall MREA meetings, they're all virtual this year, and then you just sign up on the link to whichever one fits your schedule. So that's the conclusion of my report, unless there are any questions.
I see no indication of questions, so we'll move on then for the general consent items. And for consideration and approval in this category are the minutes from our August 23rd board meeting, and then our bills and treasurer's report. So we'll turn to Treasurer Kirby Anderson.
Alrighty, Natalie and I did meet with our business manager right before the meeting, and our fund balance is in good shape compared to last year. We're about 700,000 over, so we're, food services and community ed again are pulling more than their fair share and doing a good job of it, by the way. As we reviewed the bills, a lot of beginning of the year purchases, Cooper's Office Supply, Schmidt Music, for instance. We did buy some kitchen appliances for out at Lincoln. We had a couple questions on some larger ones. One of them was on 112,000 roofing over on the Maroon Gym, which is just about done. And we had $22,000 in electrician costs, but we're going to be getting somewhere in the range of 60% of that back. So that's some good news. We had some, what else was there? It was a pretty quiet month, really. School calendars, with some mechanical work done over McKinley by Train. And then we had some bills associated with staff development, including the Youth Frontiers, and our speaker was Amy D. So our business manager, as usual, did a great job of answering our questions and digging out some of the things out of the file. And things are looking good. And I think there are some things that we have some concerns about. I think one of the probably main one right now is compensatory income, because we have free lunches for everybody. We have people who are not filling out the free and reduced lunch forms, and so that can hurt us down the road on compensatory income. So if we continue to have free and reduced or free lunches and people are not filling out the forms for free and reduced, then that will hurt us. So we'll have to figure out something. I think you said there's been a couple of ideas thrown out there to close that gap, but we'll see what happens with free lunch.
Okay. Any questions? All right, we'll move on to personnel and turn over to our HR director.
Good evening, everyone. We continue to have some changes and filled most of our positions prior to school starting here, which is awesome. We still have some positions to fill, so if anyone is interested out there in the audience, go to our website, and we still have some postings there, and we're always looking for substitutes in any areas. Certified teachers, paras, special ed paras, food service, custodians. So I just definitely encourage the public to just check that out as another option for employment. So under personnel tonight, I have some support staff hires and contract changes. And so we'll just kind of quickly go down my list here. Michael Whitehead, food service, 3.5 hours dishwasher. Deanna Tennyson, she has been in our food service program for a little over a year here, and she's just changing up and increasing her hours as assistant food service position. Heidi Drews, she's going to take a leave of absence as a paraeducator in order to take a Title I role this year, and then move from there. And we'll just see again, Kirby talked about Title I and compensatory revenue. We just don't know how that is all going to wash out in the next school year. So this is kind of just how we're putting it in place for this year. Sarah Graber, Title I para at Cleveland. Candace Golson, special ed para, along with Jasmine Housley and Madison Anderson, all special ed paras. The first two, Candace and Jasmine, are at McKinley, and Madison at Kennedy Secondary School. Sarah Marcus, she was hired at the last board meeting. She'll have an increase of 45 minutes per day from her approved contract last school board meeting, and that's just based on an IEP from a student that she's serving. Colleen Schroeder, ECFE preschool aide at Lincoln, and Lacey Scramstad, student support aide at McKinley. Under support staff resignations, we have Trista Haugen, also a child care aide at ECFE preschool, and Paula Cooper, noon hour supervisor at McKinley. Under certified staff leave of absence request, we have Rebecca Greenagel, elementary teacher, and she's requesting a 1-year leave of absence for the 2021-22 school year. Certified staff hire contract changes, we have Quentin, otherwise known as Chip McAllister, long-term substitute at Prairie Wetlands Learning Center, effective from the start of the school year through October 1st at this time. Jacqueline S. Ludwig, additional 1.1667 FTE increase at ALC. Effective at the beginning of the school year, along with Barb Huffman, ESL teacher. It's just a contract change from last year based on student enrollment. And then Catherine Anderson, work-based learning teacher. We had increased an IQ class to her contract, so a .8834 FTE also at the start of the school year. So I would ask for approval on the personnel changes for tonight's meeting.
All right, is there a motion to approve the general consent items?
So moved.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
Any discussion on any of these items?
Thanks for all your hard work.
Yes.
You're welcome.
All right, all in favor of approving the general consent items, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say nay. And that is approved. We do not have old business, and under our new business, we will discuss the upcoming contract negotiations for the teachers' union. It's a different way of saying what's written on the agenda. And so with that, we'll close the meeting so that we can, under Minnesota statute, so that we can freely discuss proposed contract languages and changes on our end. Then we'll reopen the meeting. And since there is no other business on the agenda, then we will close the meeting. And then we'll go into our work session. Ta-da! So at this time, I would seek a motion to close the school board meeting for discussion on negotiation strategies.
So moved.
Is there a second?
I'll second that.
All right, any discussion? All in favor of approving closing the meeting, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say nay. All right, and the meeting closes at 6:40 on the dot.
5:40.
Yeah.
5:40.
Yeah,
You're gonna mess up my minutes, aren't you?
Yeah, I am.
Okay.
So,
Awesome. I'll get that.
all right, here. And so, at this time then, I mean, we hate to be rude,